G'day Argy crew, hope you're having a fantastic day today and your family's happy and healthy. Okay, this video that I'm making is a bit impromptu, but it's to help a lot of people out that might want to roll back either American Truck Simulator or Euro Truck Simulator 2 to a previous version for one reason or another. The reason I'm doing it is because we're wanting to do an Australian Outback map convoy on Friday night, which is tomorrow night my time. And unfortunately, it is not compatible with the latest version of American Truck Simulator, which is 1.53. It's compatible though with 1.50. So we're going to roll it back to 1.50 so that we can do a convoy in Australia. So again, like I say, the reason that this is being done is twofold. One, for the people that don't know how to do this safely and want to know a safe way to do it. And two, so that the guys in the VTC, Argy Transport, can see how it's done so that they can then join the convoy in Australia with us. All right, now, before I go any further, I'm going to stress this upon you very loudly, all right? If you like to follow this, you have to follow it step by step. It is very easy to do, but if you make a mistake, it can cause problems. And I've had an increasing trend with people watching my videos that have not followed it step by step, or they've changed something, or they've left something out completely, and then come back and started shouting at me and saying that there's a problem with your video and it's stuffed my game up, only to find out that exactly what I said. They'd left something out, they hadn't followed it step by step, or they completely did something in the wrong order. So make sure you follow it step by step and you'll be fine. Like I say, it's extremely easy once you know how. And I hold no responsibility for anything that goes wrong with your game if you don't follow it step by step. I do my best to make sure that all my videos are easy to follow, and therefore it's not hard for you to get it right. But it's normally through user error if something goes wrong. And again, I am not responsible for you doing something wrong. If you follow them step by step, you'll be fine. Sorry about that rant, but it's just that a few people recently, and it's only a few, have not followed them and caused themselves problems. And it turned out not to be my fault. And then they were very apologetic, which is good. But anyway, all right. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to copy or make a completely new profile so that you don't stuff up your old profiles. I normally just copy a profile. That way everything that's in that profile I can use and I don't have to go and start all over again. So you can either make a new profile if you want, but it means you've got to start all over again, and therefore you've got to go through the tutorial, you've got to build your business back up. But for this purpose, I'm going to copy a profile, not make a new one. And to copy a profile is extremely easy, and I'll show you exactly how to do that now using one program and one website. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to choose a profile that you want to copy, which would be, I'm going to choose Australian Convoy because that's the one that I want to use in my Australian map. So to do that, you're going to need a program called siidecrypt.ex. Now I'll leave a link for you to download this, and then you just simply click download, and it won't take long at all because it's a very small program. And once it's downloaded, you'll go to downloads and you'll see the program there. Now all I do is I simply copy it, I go to my documents, American Truck Simulator or Euro Truck Simulator, whichever one you're doing it in. Oops. And then I go to profiles. I choose the profile that I want to place it in, and then I just paste it in. As you can see, it's already there. Paste, replace. Okay, now anything that you download from the internet too, always do a virus check on it. I've already done that. I know that this one is safe. So, and to do that, you just right click on it, use your scan program. I'm using Zamana, and scan to make sure it's perfectly safe, which it is. So once you've put the SII decrypt into your profile, you can then go and grab profile SII, drop it on top of. So all you're doing is highlighting, dragging it, and dropping it on top of SII decrypt.ex. And what will happen is nothing. That means it's worked. All right. And then what you do is you double click on the profile, drag it down to the bottom to see what the name is, Australian Convoy. So I now know that that one is the profile that I want to copy. So again, I'll show you how to do that. In profiles, you find if you've only got 1 or 2 profiles, it'll be a lot easier for you. But as you can see, I've got multiple profiles. I already found out that the bottom one here is the one I'm looking for. But what you do is you drop the decrypt exe into the profile, drag profile over to the top of it, double click on profile, drag it down to the bottom, and make sure it's the one that you want to copy. And it's the Australian Convoy is the one I want to copy. So then I would just simply go back, knowing that this is the one I want to copy. I click, right click on it, I click copy, and now what I want to do is I want to paste it back in there. And once it's pasted in, you want to change the name of it. So go back into it, again drag the profile down over the top of the decrypt exe, open up the profile, come down the bottom here where the name is. Now, important thing to remember, if you're using a one-word name, you can type it in like so. Let me show you. We'll just go Oz contest. That's one word, right? And you can leave it like that. But if you're using 2 words like this, Oz test, so you've got 2 words, you can't just do it that way. You have to put the 2 little lines, and I've forgotten the name there, whatever. You've got to put the 2 parentheses around it, because if you don't, it won't work because of the fact that you're using a space between the names. All right, so you've got to put those 2 parentheses around the word, or the words, if you're using 2 separate words. If you're using 1 word, they're not needed. All right, so now that we've done that, we're going to call it Oz test. We then go up to File and Save. So now you've saved it and everything's okay. You can shut that down, but now you need to change the name of this to Oz test. Okay, because right now its name is Australian Convoy. Copy. All right, so to change that name, you'll need to go to another website. Again, I will leave a link to that in the description, and you will change the name to Oz test. Okay, and then it gives you the encoding string down the bottom here. So whatever you type in here, it will give you an encoding string down the bottom here. You highlight the encoded string, copy, go back to your profiles, right click on it, rename, and paste in there. Now I'll do that again. So you put your name up here, up the top, then take the encoded string that it prints out for you, copy that. All right, so that's left mouse click, drag it across, right mouse click, copy. Okay, I'll do that again. Left mouse click, drag it across, right mouse click, copy. Then from there, you go back into your profiles. You would then right click on it and rename. Then in here, you would right click, paste, and then enter. That has now been renamed to Oz test. And then when you go back into the game, you will find now that there will be a new profile there called Oz test. And there it is. And it is an exact copy of the Australian Convoy. But now I can use that without hurting anything that's in here, because it's a separate profile, if you understand what I mean. So if I click on that, it will have the exact same mods in it that the Australian Convoy had. And there they all are. Okay, so that's how you copy a profile And if there's any problems, just go back and replay until you get it right. Don't go any further until you've got a test profile or a separate profile that you can use in the new or the rollback version of the game. All right, so now that you've done that, you would now get out of here, right? Because you now know that you have a profile that you can use safely. Let's choose that. Use select the profile. You now have that profile that you can use safely within 1.50, because we're rolling back to 1.50 from 1.53. So I now know I can use that safely in 1.50 and it won't affect any of my other profiles. So we get out of there, we quit. So yes, we now go back here to the game, whether it's Euro Truck Simulator or American Truck Simulator. So either one that you're using this on, you would then right click on the name of the game over here in the left. You would go down to Properties and Installed Files. Sorry, betas. My mistake. Go to betas. Like I say, this is impromptu. I'm doing this as first take. Hopefully I'll get it right on the first take. Now up here you'll see it says none. That's because you're on the current version of the game. You want none up there if you're on the current version. But now, because we're looking to roll back, we'll click that, left click it. All right, once you've left clicked it, drag down until you see 1.50. It says there temporary 1.50 for incompatible mods. That's what you're rolling it back to. So you would click that, and what will happen if you look down here, it starts downloading. All right, so it's downloading, which means that it is now going to roll it back to 1.50. I'll come back when it's done it, because if you have a look, it's going to take about 12 minutes for it to roll back to 1.50. So it will take a little bit of time. Once it's done it, I'll come back to you and show you what you do from there. Okay, so now that it is rolled back to 1.50 or whatever version you're rolling it back to, you'll see this in the download section of Steam. It will say clear all. It shows you that it's downloaded 19.9 gigabytes, and you can either click play from here or you can go back to the library and click play from there. I'm just going to do it from here because it's simpler. All right, so we click play, and there's an important bit here that you'll see once we get started that I'll have to explain to you. Okay, so as you can see here, it says incompatible DLCs. Now, if you've got all the DLCs for the current version of the game and you're rolling back, there will be some of them that aren't compatible. Don't panic. All you've got to do is say continue, because what it does then is it disables those DLCs and the game will still work. It won't delete those DLCs, it just puts them in the background and they're not being used. So you don't have to panic. The DLCs will not be taken out of your account. They're just being simply deactivated for that version. So once you roll back to the current version, they will be reinstalled. Okay, so don't panic. So this is just telling me that the Arkansas DLC is not compatible with this version of the game. So I'm just going to continue and let it do its thing. So now we're in the new version. So it's saying here, version change, check the game downgraded to an older version, and it gives you a bit of a spiel. All right, just click OK, and it does its normal thing. Again, click OK. Now, as you can see, this is the old user interface. So you've got to remember where everything is in the old user interface. So we now go up here and find that. Now, this is important. All right, do not use any of your current profiles. Okay, I will not be responsible for anything that goes wrong if you use any of your current profiles. Only use the profile that you have set up for the rollback, right? Which was my Oz test. I'm not touching any of these other profiles, and I will not touch any of those profiles until I go back to the current version of the game. If you click on any of these and then go into the game, you do so at your own risk. Some people will tell you it will be perfectly fine. Others will tell you it won't. I'm telling you it won't. So if you do click on any of them, do so at your own risk. Again, I'm stressing this because I won't be held responsible if you do. So click on the one that you set up to make sure that it's clear, whatever you rename it to, that you know that that's the one that you want to use. And I named it as Oz Test, so I knew that that's the one. I will not use any other profile. I'm stressing it, but I want to make sure that you understand that. So now that you've got the correct profile, you can check to make sure that the mods are all compatible with this version if you want. Just run down and they are. Okay. So then what you do is you just simply click continue. And now once you're in the game, it will say that a crash was detected, and that was because previous to this I tried to get into my Australian map, but it was the incorrect version of the game, so therefore it crashed. So I'm ignoring that. Now it's telling me that I've changed one of the mods, which I did because I updated the hater build, and that's perfectly normal. So you just click continue and it should load you directly into the game now, and it should not crash, it should work. Let's see what happens. All right, as you can see, it's loaded into the game. We'll go to the navigation, world map, and check that it is the correct map, which it is. This is the Australian Outback map. As you can see here, Charleville and Cooper Opals, etc., etc. So it's the correct map. We know that it's working. We can now jump in the truck and just make sure that the trucks, once we load in the truck, everything's working. And as you can see, it is. I've got triples from an older save game that I drove. Let's move that back so I can get out of here, and we'll dismiss those trailers because we no longer need them. Drive, and like I say, as you can see, everything's working okay. I can tell you everything's definitely working okay because I did a quick test before I made this video to make sure that everything was correct when it was rolled back to 1.50, and as you can see, yes, everything's working. So that's how you roll back, and that's how you would use it to go into a older version of the game using an older mod that is incompatible with the current version, if you understand. Now, once you've done that, you'll want to, once you finish that and you want to roll back, in other words, come back to the most current version, I'll show you how to do that. So let's say you've played your game, you decide right now I want to go back to our current version, which is 1.53. You would simply get out of here, you would quit, say yes, and then go back to the library. You would then go to the whichever game it is, American Truck Simulator or ATS 2, whichever one you've just done it on. Again, right click on it, go to properties, and as you can see up here in betas, go to betas. It's got here that it's on the temporary one. You now simply go to none. All right, none is the current version of the game, and once you do that, you'll see down here in the tick it starts downloading the current version of the game. So by doing that now, once the current version of the game is loaded, you then can go back into any of those other profiles that you've got, and it will work fine. But again, do not go into any of those profiles when you roll back to the old version. I won't be responsible for anything that happens to your game if you do. You have been warned. Dun, dun, dun. So once this is reverted back to the new version of the game, I'll come back to you. Okay, so now that the game has rolled forward, not back, to 1.53, which is the current version, you can see here it's telling you that it's downloaded 22.8 gigabytes and that it's ready to rock and roll. So again, you can just simply go back to the library and click play there, or you can click play here, which I'm going to do. and I will show you now that it is back to 1.53 and everything is working as it should. Okay, so again, it will say version change detected, game upgraded to a newer version, blah 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 blah. Okay, and the normal stuff. Okay, now because it has upgraded, we will try and get into the Australian map and show you why I downgraded, because of this. So yeah, so this is why I downgrade to 1.50. As you can see now I'm in 1.53. I'm trying to get into the Australian map, which is not compatible with 1.53. Everything looks good so far. Thinking, okay, we're going to get into the game. And now it's load up, and it says quick travel, but we can't do anything and it crashes. So that's why I'm downgrading 1.50. Alright, so hopefully that was helpful, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show the guys from my VTC the loader order of the mods for the Australian map. So unless you're interested in the Australian map, you do not have to go any further. You can now close down the video and go and have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or a beer or whatever you prefer. So anyway, for the guys that are sticking around to see the mods for the Australian map, these are the mods and the order that you should place them in, because this will be hosted directly on my computer. So starting from the bottom, working our way up the top, the Haterbuilt 4.8, Haterbuilt Darker Chrome, no state restrictions for trailers, expanded trailer combinations, Argy-Bargy logo skins combined, old school skin, JC's Amateur Pack, Mortal and Cash, Basil's Cat, Yarra, yet another radicalizer, Part 6, Part 5, Part 4, Part 3, Part 2, Part 1 with the Australian map, the Australian Outback map default ATS scale, and the high draw distance. This one's up to you which one you use, and Sound Fixes Pack at the top. A link to all of these will be in the Discord post for you to have a look at. And again, I'll do this slowly so you can have a look at it, so that you can get the right order for your mods, and that way you can pause it or whatever you need to do as we go through. Alright, so hopefully you enjoyed that, guys, and you understand it. If you've got any questions, give me a head up on Discord or down in the description, down in the comments, sorry, and links in the description to everything that you need. And yeah, if you did enjoy it, guys, hopefully we'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye for now.